welcome to the Plant Bar. So today we are going to go over how to put together a terrarium. So this is a kit that you can purchase. This will look similar to most any kits if you purchase a different kit. Most kits come with similar items in them. First off, you will have your first layer of rocks. You'll have some sort of rock, hydrostone, some sort of like bottom layer sand. So some kits, they're just gonna have different items in the bottom. So that's first off what you'll have. Then you will have your layer of moss that goes in between your soil and your rock. So you'll have a layer of moss. Then you will have some charcoal. The charcoal is important because when you're working with a closed terrarium, it helps with the moisture and control the moisture within it, and it also helps if an odor begins to form. So that is what your charcoal does. You'll just do a little bit of that in there. And then your soil, of course you need some good succulent soil, cacti soil, or indoor potting soil. You want to make sure to use indoor, not outdoor if you're creating your own. All right, and then you will have your decorative moss, which is different than your moss that goes between your layers. So you'll have some decorative moss. Of course, you will have your terrarium. And then you will have your succulents to put inside. So your succulents are, you're gonna wanna make sure that they are like a drought resistant succulent. All succulents are, but you probably wouldn't wanna put a house plant in with it. They just need a lot more water than the succulents do. So, this size, you can do like 2 succulents and then maybe a small little shoot off of another succulent inside of it. If you purchase a kit through me, everything will have tags, and I do not propagate anything that has been patented. So if I put in a little shoot off of anything, it will be something that is not patented. So like a hen and chick or different types of little succulents that don't have a patent. The other thing you can purchase with your kit or purchase from the website is a little toolkit, a little terrarium toolkit. It is very helpful. They actually come in a 4-pack. I'm throwing some rocks around here. They come in a 4-pack. My dogs have already eaten the tongs, so I need another one for myself. But the terrarium toolkit is helpful. So let's work our way through setting one of these up. So in theory, your terrarium with a lid should be able to be fairly self-sufficient. You would mist it. You would want to get a little mister, spray bottle, and mist your terrarium. You don't want to water it. You just want to mist it. Let's see if I can get it out of the cardboard. Okay, there we go. Try not to break the glass, correct? So, we have a little cloche here. So cute little dome lid. Someone just said on Facebook that it looks like the Beauty and the Beast little rose container, which is really cute, which it is French. So that would make sense. And there are, I have 3 different sizes in this cloche, and then I also will have different types of terrariums. So this is just one of the types. This is one of the smaller ones as well. All right, so we're going to fill the bottom with our rock. And like I said, this is a little one, so it doesn't take a whole lot. And since you don't see the bottom, you don't have to necessarily fill the center. I just like to fill the sides of this. This one is actual rock. Some in your kits might be like a hydrostone that helps with water, but this like hold the moisture. But the rock is to help with your drainage. If you end up having like water sitting in the bottom of your terrarium, you're over watering. So make sure not to water quite so much. Then the next step is our little bit of moss in here, and you don't need a lot in this guy, especially since I didn't like put rock in the center. I just wanted it kind of on the outside, so you don't need very much of this. This is a Spanish moss, and it is not a dyed moss. And in these kits, our decorative moss is dyed, but the sphagnum moss or the Spanish moss is not dyed. A sphagnum moss is this red down here at the bottom. So if you want a red look, I prefer the gray look of a Spanish moss, and it just helps absorb some of the moisture so that it can give it back to the plants. And it serves as a barrier between your soil and your rock as well. We're not necessarily trying to separate them quite so much. I guess I should have had scissors for this, but I did like it the hard way. So then we're going to pour in some soil because there's not a whole lot of separation that happens in this little guy, and you don't need this one. You really don't need much soil in this guy at all. Okay, and there we have it. This goes really quick. Here's the thing. This is like super therapeutic to me. I'm on this journey of I want to do what I'm passionate about, what I love, what takes care of me in this uncertain season. I just need some things for myself. I love my family. I love my children and my husband, but there are some things that I just need for me. And these plants have kind of become that. Taking care of my plants. They don't talk back to me like my children, but it's become a source of therapy for me. And so I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I have. So I have two different succulents in here, and I have this little guy. We can talk a little bit about design. One, your succulents have to be small enough to fit in here with this little guy, but also I like to look at texture, height, and color. I prefer for things not to all look exactly the same color. I want some variety. I want some variety in the texture of the leaves, in the shape of the leaves, in the color of the leaves. So some of those are like the design aspects, like that's part of why I got into this, is the design, the creativity. I'm not a plant expert. I don't know all the plants by name. I'm learning the care of all of them. But I look at it from like a creative design perspective that is like pleasing to the eye. So when I'm looking at these, I go ahead and figure out my height. How do I want them to look? So a lot of times things in threes, ones, threes, fives. For this kind of setting, I would like best. If it were something that's long and narrow, you could definitely do 2, 4, like you can do even numbers. But in something that's circular like this, I would like more of a 3, like an offset number is what I personally look for. So we're gonna start with the tallest one, put it in kind of the center to back area. And I wanna talk about this guy a little bit. It's super, super dry. And succulents can be super, super dry. You will know you're overwatering if they get a little mushy. So I have overwatered this guy a little bit. So they're a little bit mushy, but you can set those off to the side, let them dry out, and you can propagate them yourself I cannot sell them to you if I've propagated them and they are patented, but you can propagate on your own. You throw them aside, let them dry out, and they will sprout. Okay, so more have fallen off, so just set them aside and put them just like in a little container next to your sink, and then just kind of keep watching them. So I do collect them for myself, but like I said, they cannot be sold if they are patented. So here you have your little soil mound, and you can take it apart if you need to. So if you have too much soil, you always want to mix a little bit of the soil. And so if you have too much soil, you can just kind of pull it apart. And this is where the tongs are helpful, because the tongs will create my little hole in here. But I don't have that. And my children took my spray bottle. So one thing that helps when you're putting these guys in, I'm just gonna use my big picture here. Do not do as I do as I say. Or do as I say, not as I do. But that just helps because my soil, the potting soil, comes dry. And so it does need a little bit of moisture to kind of help hold things in place. So he's now in place. And then, so I picked this guy to go. So this one looks a little bit more rubbery and a pointy on the edges. This guy is soft and fuzzy. So he's really cute. And I don't know. I think plants are gender connected. Some of them are. So like this one, these guys to me are males. I don't know why, but, and then the other one to me is more female. Some are not, some are, yeah. So this guy, we are gonna plant up here and fill in with some soil. We're getting connected. But let's see here. Let me add a little bit more soil over here. There. Okay. And then last but not least is this little guy. We're just gonna stick this little guy in here and it will root on its own. Succulents are fascinating. They will root on their own. I'm like just fascinated by succulents. I don't know why I'm trying to cover that, but I'm going to add a little bit of too much moisture. I will say I'm adding too much moisture, but because that soil is very, very dry. And I will not water it. Like I will let it be now for quite a while and won't water it because it will sit in the bottom and it will absorb up into the plants as they start rooting in here. They don't need very much soil. They don't need a whole lot, but like all plants, after a while, once they start growing, you will have to transplant, okay? These guys will get big. So you will have to transplant and then you buy more little babies. You put the little babies in there and then you transplant them once they outgrow it. So that's actually what you want, is you want your plants to be happy and growing. I don't know if you guys have followed this bird cage. This bird cage has grown so much in 3 weeks and I've literally watered it, I think 3 times. I think that's all I have watered this bird cage, and it is, succulents are just amazing to me. Just amazing to me. So I'm worried about this guy fitting in. I'm gonna have to turn him. I'm gonna actually pick him up and turn him. There we go. There, that's better. Now it'll fit in there with the lid on it. Okay, so kind of cleaning it up. Oh, and then you can choose if you want moss, decorative moss, or not. It is up to you, but I like a little bit. So this kit has 3 different colors in it. Sometimes they'll come with all one color. Sometimes you'll get a variety. And then I just kind of pick like where I want these colors at. So based off of like what kind of plants are in it. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna kind of bury the root in here. Oops. Alrighty, and then we've got a little bit of white or like a sand color. And then this stuff you can just tear apart, okay? So you can just tear it apart and stick it where you want it to go. This is like the creative side of it, right? The design, the creativity. Turn on some music, have a glass of wine. All right, so I put quite a bit in there. Cute. All right, and then you put this bad boy's lid on. And then for those of you who have cats, then it's protected. It is protected. How cute is that? I know it's hard to see with the glare. How freaking cute is that? Okay, so there you have it. There's our cloche. Now, most kits will come with the items that I've just shown you. They may have a little bit of variation, but for the most part, that's what every kit should have, whether you buy from me or elsewhere. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to give me shoot me a text, a DM, or an email. My website is shoppingwithallie.com, and my email is shoppingwithallie@gmail.com. So you are welcome to reach out anytime if you have any questions. And I hope this was helpful, and I hope it's a super relaxing way for you to give yourself some self-care and love on your home and enjoy something that's sustainable. So friends, thank you all for shopping with me and supporting my small business.